to talk about these overtime rules that are going to happen. I'm just going to have to lay down. The way it's going to happen is like this. We're going to start here. You're going to have your south arm through, and you're going to cup your own thigh and your other hand on the ground. And this is where they're going to have you start. Okay? His defense is allowed to be any grip, but he's not allowed to rear naked choke. So what he was just doing would not be a legal way to start it. He can go there immediately after. You know, they're kind of starting in a relatively neutral position, but I mean, obviously it benefits me, but I also am not allowed to have my north hand in. I would much rather have this than this, okay? So the first thing I want to do is we're going to talk about both sides of each of these. First one is kind of trying to win from this situation, and the second thing we're going to do is escaping from the situation that he's in. All right, so the moment they say go or whatever, he's allowed to start his defense, I'm allowed to start my attacks. So when they say go, the first thing I recommend doing is locking your feet together, pulling the far elbow in, and getting all this in tight. And the reason for it, if he's holding his hands and kind of pulling his arm, and you got this going on, all I'm doing is pulling on his shoulder, even though because I'm at the elbow. So there's very little tension actually here. When I lock here and I pull this in, now there's no tension there. And if you get lucky, you get an easy arm bar here. Take your time once that happens. Once you get to the wrist and you're here, take your time here because you really don't want him to hitchhiker out. So I recommend switching and getting a leg. And now I can fall back. Now it's harder for him to get out. Secondarily, boom, if I get in here, I can also force this opposite arm over to the other side of my head, pinch it with my shoulder, and just come in and pull this in for an arm crush. So I think those are your two best options as far as winning from there. All right, crossing the legs on the opposite side is really the easiest way to do that because it's hard for him to then like keep anything tight. So let's say we're here, they say go, and let's say go to the rear naked thing you were doing. Boom. Even if I'm here, it's a lot harder for him to make this useful because he's anticipating this, not this. You know, now I can walk my hand. Does that make sense? Did you guys see what happened there? Or here, just pulling this is going to be hard, but if I can get my hand in here, it forms a little wedge. Get his leg. Okay? So there's two options from there. Do we need to see them again? All right, 1, 2, 3.
You did.
Okay, cool. So they're going to start with their hand on their hip and what I would consider the more dangerous arm on the floor. All right, so the minute go is called, your first order of business needs to get your thumb to their hip over here. All right, that needs to be number one. Forget all this bullshit. All right, this is delaying. Remember, what are our levels of defense? Resistance, escape, counter. Right now, we care most about escape just because that's what the rules are. But it would be great to be able to counter too. If I just do this, this is resistance. The problem with resistance is everything gets stiff. When they say go, he's going to get his second arm into the game real quick. Good. And now my chance to hitchhike out of here is going to be tough. Okay? So the minute they say go, you're going to do two things. You're going to plant this foot to look away. You're literally going to turn your hips and look away and put this thumb in his hip pocket. Boom. Here. All right. Now he's going to be trying to pull that up out of there with both hands. I can guarantee you that. He doesn't want this. Okay? But don't care. As long as I keep my arm bent as I go through this, I'll be okay. All right, so go, and he starts messing with that other stuff. You just walk over in a circle. Even though he rolled, my thumb was pointing toward his belly at that point. I was good. You pull it out, you're out of danger. Let's do this again. And this is just a hitchhiker escape. And it's called a hitchhiker because it's, you know, hey, you're right. So the minute they say go, I'm going to turn and look away as I drive my thumb into his hip. Boom. Now the rest of this is literally just walking in a circle, just like you're ghost escaping or doing an oop or whatever. I just kind of keep looking like I'm trying to look at his bum. When you get to here, be very careful of a triangle attempt. You don't want that to happen, or the omoplata. So just understand that you can continue the attack in there and get your arm out quickly. Okay? As far as counters, there's a few you could probably do. You could probably step over and start like entangling and stuff like that, but let's just work about getting out of it for now. Without Austin there, I'm here. Okay? This hand over here, it can help push legs off the head. It can drive his other legs down as I come around. It'll help me pull my arm out. This is going to kill me. This is a time bomb. I mean, you're going to have to start there because that's what they're going to say. So you'll start here. They say go, boom. Any questions? Let's try it out. 1, 2, 3. You got to here, and they had the arm. Like, it was like, ah, crap, you know, it's straight. When I feel the arm, I start to lose it here. I got to be real smart about what I do. Remember I said this other arm can do things and stuff? I'm going to come under here. Okay? And now you have to be very smart and very careful. There will be a moment of great discomfort if you decide to do this method. Because I'm going to now try to get my thumb rotated from this hip all the way to the other hip, and that means I'm going to pass through this armbar motion right here. Okay? So it's about timing here. My hips are up. I'm going to rotate my thumb as I drop my hips and come the other way. If I drop my hips and then rotate my thumb, I'll drop right into an armbar. So because my arm, I've still got a slight bend in it, and my hips have lifted his leg up, if I just go boom, and now I try to tap, I'm done. But here, does that make sense? And it's important though that when I do this, I don't allow this foot that I'm holding to get underneath my head. Because he can put it there, and now I can still just finish the armbar. So that's why I'm kind of keeping it as I come up, and then coming up tight to him. So that's another good option. So if you're trying the hitchhiker, boom, and it's not working, you always have that other option. You guys want to practice that one too?
Yes, please.
All right, 1, 2, 3. And you're here, okay? You are going to throw your shoulders to the weak side, essentially as hard and fast as you can. Your goal is to scrape him off of you like butter on, coming off, like when you do toast and you have the extra butter, you scrape it off like either onto your toast, or if you're a real dick, you put it right back into the butter and then you get the crummy butter. All right, so we're here. They say go. You're gonna plant, drive your shoulders that way, and look to the sky. So don't just do this. This will benefit him. See how his head is underneath me? I can't allow that. Let's go back. So when I get over there, I want my head to be on that side of him. So that's another way to think about it. I do that by looking up, and then I just kind of scoot it over as I go. I make my head look for the back of the ground, or my back of my head look for the ground, and that may even be a better way to think about it. Get the back of your head to the ground. Rear naked choke me. You're out. The minute that happens, you're out. You just got to stay patient. If they're going crazy, they're probably going to try to mount me. The mount would be the logical place to go, but as far as overtime rules, you're out. Game's over.
Oh, once you're in that position there.
Yeah, you're done.
Okay, you can't.
Like as long as they don't have an attack on you. The thing to be aware of is they know you're going to go there, so they may try to take this hand to their cheek and then hit me in the face here and start thinking armbar. So just understand that is a possibility, and then you just flow that into what you already know. So I want you to practice this 2 ways. 1, it goes your way, boom, you get your head to the ground, and then from here you just start climbing out. And then 2, he's going to, as I do this, he's going to go to the arm bar. We're out of that too. Same hitchhiker you already did. Take your time with it though. Don't hurry, because your arm's gonna be a little more extended than it was last time. And I want you to think about where to put everything, okay? You're just learning it. But the goal is just to connect it right to what you already know. Sound good? Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3. Until the you're on. I'll have my arms across. So I'm very late. So we're in a full triangle. Right here. The ref will say go. First thing I need to do is get my chest parallel to the ground without him underneath me from over here. Like if I can get my arm back, that's great. And then if they say go, he's going to make sure that doesn't happen. You know? So they're going to say go. I'm going to come here, drop my elbow, and try to, see I'm sprawling the one leg. I'm trying to get my chest to the ground at this point. Another thing is going on with this. This arm is pulling back as my shoulder pushes in. So like I could be here and Austin's just going to take his right arm, dig underneath my arms, and get me right back up to where I was. Oh, I'm in trouble. So it's not good enough to just turn. You want to turn, get flat, and apply pressure, triangling at the knee, and pushing my free shoulder through. So they say go, we go 1, 2, drive. Notice the hip action. I'm stepped out, laced out with the one foot. The other leg is extended, but the toes are active. And from here, we're trying to just wiggle ourselves in. And then you're out. Obviously, that wouldn't be a great spot to end up in. Chances are he's going to take my back or whatever, but you were in a really bad spot. So, any questions on that?
Can you see it one more time?
Sure. Actually, this one's under, so that he can't just pull this down into an arm bar. Hips, get my chest parallel to the ground. Off of him. At this point, start wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Get my hands in.